There's a recurring issue we see in our coaching program. Entrepreneurs come into our program, they're overwhelmed. We put in place a strategic plan, a communication system, a way to build their infrastructure. We lower noise dramatically. We actually make things more livable for them. And almost immediately, they want to add a project, a new product, a new avatar to chase, maybe even a new business. It's like we want to overwhelm ourselves constantly and we feel like we should. However, when we overwhelm ourselves in a business, we attract even more overwhelm. There's a reason why this is so important, and I want you to know it. I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be. This is an issue we deal with in our coaching program all of the time. You know, entrepreneurs come to us and they join our program typically because they want to do more. They want to put more out there. They want to have a bigger impact. They want to make more happen. And they join our program because their company's not growing as fast as they want it to. They feel like they're doing too much. They feel like they're doing everything, like they're guiding the team too much or they're managing too much. They feel like there's too much that they're responsible for and they want help with. And they also feel like the team's not taking initiative. Things aren't growing as fast as they should. There's so many reasons why entrepreneurs come to us. And a big part of it is that they feel overwhelmed. They feel overwhelmed with everything they're doing. They feel overwhelmed with what their company is doing. They feel like they're letting people down. And so we put our systems in place. We dramatically lower the pressure and noise in their life. We make things a lot easier. And almost immediately, we see this all the time with our sub 7 and even our sub 8-figure clients. Under 7 figures, they immediately want to add a new avatar, a new product, a new something that they can chase. Over 7 figures, same thing. Somebody's at 2 or 3 million, they'll have a business that's growing like crazy, and we help lower the noise and they want to add something else to the business or a new product or a new something to chase. And here's what happens when that happens. Most of the time, it's incredibly destructive. It slows the growth of the business down. It distracts the entire team without the entrepreneur even understanding just how distracting things are. And here's why. In today's world, you can chase one avatar, one product, one promotion with a tremendous amount of simplicity easily to 7 figures, and in a lot of cases to 8 figures. In fact, the most successful companies we've chased or we've helped have had one avatar, one product or set of products, and one simple promotion for the same person over and over again through 7 figures, up to 8 figures and beyond. And here's what we see all the time in our programs is people start getting a little pressure and noise reduced. They start feeling a little bit of momentum and they want to do way too much. Now, here's the issue. We want to feel productive as entrepreneurs. We're evolutionary hunters. We want to feel utilized. We want to feel like we're on the hunt. We want to feel like we're making stuff happen. But sometimes, here's the biggest utility we have in our business. Sometimes the most important thing we do in our business is we create space in our lives for what's coming next. Because as an entrepreneur, you are the most important person in your business. As the entrepreneur in charge, you are the biggest driver of the business. You have more of an impact on that business than anybody else. So here are some things that I want you to think about when it comes to overwhelming yourself. Number one, you're constantly going to be changing and growing and changing your behavior as an entrepreneur. This takes time. This takes space. When we get a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room, we need to start looking at ourselves. This is where we should do personal development. This is where we should read the books we need to read. This is where we should focus on ourselves, not go and change the entire business and try and add more products, add more avatars to hunt down. It just is overwhelming. Another reason why this is so important, if you don't grow as an entrepreneur, the business won't grow. So one of the places to focus when you feel breathing room, when you feel from some space, is on growing yourself as a human being. is on figuring out what you need to know next. What is it what are the skills you need? What is it you need to understand as an entrepreneur to grow your business to where it needs to be? And here's something that's really important. Overwhelm as an entrepreneur creates more overwhelm. And every time you say yes to something, you have to acknowledge the fact that you are saying no to a whole bunch of other things. So every time you say, yes, let's put a new product out, or yes, let's create a new avatar, or yes, let's go after something new, or let's add something to the business, you're saying no to simplicity. You're saying no to things staying the way that they were. You're saying no to adding something different or to enhancing something or to optimizing what you already have. So we need to be conscious that yes isn't just a yes. Yes, in and of itself is a no to anything else that we could have done with that effort, with that energy, with that time, with that focus, with that cash that we're spending of our 5 currencies to move things forward. So this is really important. In fact, I think it's one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs don't scale today. We create our own overwhelm. As soon as things start going well, rather than focusing on what we're doing and trying to do it over and over again, we try to change it, try to do something else, try to make a big splash somewhere, try to do a launch or do some other product. And that might create temporary success. But more often than not, in a sub $10 million company, when you're adding products and complication and avatars and changing what you're doing, you usually are just increasing pressure and noise to the point where you're going to slow the company down. Now, here's something important. You shouldn't overwhelm yourself in a business because life is overwhelming. Life will overwhelm you by itself. Something will happen. If you are completely overwhelmed in your business, that is when energetically you are going to attract more overwhelm. We attract how we are. We attract who we are. So when we are overwhelmed, when we're adding more stuff to our plate, when we are in that place where we can't see straight, that is when we get sick, or someone close to us gets sick, or someone quits, or something dramatic changes, or something happens that alters where we are because we're already overwhelmed. Why? We are attracting that overwhelmed energy. If you know anything about how energy like attracts like, and if you're overwhelmed, you're going to attract more overwhelm into your life. So the more that you create space, the more that you lower pressure and noise obsessively, the more you remove the things from your life that are not giving you momentum, the more you will move forward, the more you will create more momentum. Another thing you need to know, you have to clear space for what's coming next for you as an entrepreneur. Here's a fact, and this is a fact. This is like the law of gravity. This is reality. I'll argue this with anybody. As an entrepreneur, as you're growing your business, one of the most important growth factors of that business is you growing yourself. See, each time you go through a major transition in the business, you're going to go through a major transition in what you do in the business and who you are in the business. Being an entrepreneur is a commitment to an endless series of transitions in growing to become who you are supposed to be and growing to become who you need to be to run the business that you want. So you will constantly be growing, constantly clearing space. So if you get to a place where your business isn't overwhelming, enjoy that time. Take a breather, take a minute. Don't immediately add something to overwhelm yourself. That is where so much challenge comes from for entrepreneurs. Because as soon as you get a minute where it's not overwhelming, when you fill that with more energy, when you fill that with more to do, when you take that away from yourself and you overwhelm yourself again, you will attract more overwhelm into your life. And this comes from not just me thinking this. This comes from me watching this for over 20 years. The entrepreneurs who are willing to overwhelm themselves are the ones who always end up overwhelmed. The ones who don't tolerate overwhelm, the ones who will not allow themselves to be overwhelmed, the ones that demand to lower pressure and noise, the ones that are not willing to tolerate the state of feeling like there's too much frustration, there's too much anxiety. Those are the ones who consistently are most successful. You would think that it's the entrepreneurs who can put up with more that are most successful. It's the entrepreneurs that don't allow themselves to put up with more that are most successful. And here's one last thought for you when it comes to overwhelming yourself, overwhelming your team, overwhelming your company. Let's say you get to a point where things are going really well. You can launch another product. You can add another avatar. You can do something in addition to what you're already doing. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because the time's there, just because the space there, doesn't mean you should add complication and overwhelm to what you're already doing. Take a look at where you are. Take a look at what's going on. Oftentimes we want to add something because it feels exciting, it feels new, it feels different, it's shiny object syndrome. And if we would just optimize and put the effort into what we're already doing, we would see our business grow like crazy. So as an entrepreneur, you have to constantly, obsessively daily and systematically through a process, lower the pressure and noise in your life, offload where you are uncomfortable, make things easier on yourself so you can do this amazing thing called growing and scaling a business that very few people in their entire lives will ever even commit to doing. The vast majority of the population would be coded out after just one day of trying to live in your shoes as an entrepreneur, and to do what you're doing, growing a business, growing a team, making an impact and changing the world. Most people couldn't even think about it. So because we are different, because we are that small percentage of the population that makes things happen, that changes the world, that makes the impact, that really is out there creating momentum and making things better for other people, we have to be conscious of the fact that in order for us to succeed, we have to constantly and consistently lower the pressure and noise in our life. Say no to more than we say yes to. Focus our company like crazy. And when things get easy, when you get a breather, understand you are creating space for what comes next for you in this business. Do not fill that space and you'll see your business grow. If you overwhelm yourself, life will overwhelm you anymore, or even more. We attract the energy that we are living in. So when you push yourself, when you do too much, when you add too much to the plate, the world, the universe is only going to give you more. When you lower the pressure and noise in your life, when you declare where you are uncomfortable, when you make sure you are working in your highest and best use, you will see massive momentum, possibly more than you ever thought possible. If you want some help with this and you don't want to do it all yourself, let us help you build a strategic plan, communicate that plan to your team, and grow the infrastructure of your business faster than you ever thought possible. Take a minute right now. Go to billionairecode.com, answer a few questions for a member of my team, and you'll be given an opportunity to set up a call with us where we will help you analyze your business, understand where you are, and know exactly what you need next. And if, and only if, we're the right solution for you, we'll explain our solutions and show you how we may be able to help. Go to billionairecode.com right now, set up that call with a member of my team. Let's get you out of overwhelm and into massive momentum. billionairecode.com.